Welcome to the Highlight Show, and we have some netball action for you today right out of the top draw. No teams play it harder or quicker than the Adelaide Thunderbirds or Melbourne Phoenix, and when they meet, it really is a case of the fast and the furious. That match coming up later in the show, along with a special insight into the life of Perth Oriole Helen Aravides, a defender of the law and the netball court. First up, though, we're going to go to Queensland and to see the Firebirds and Melbourne Kestrels at Chandler. Both teams looking for their first win in 2006. Here's Quentin Hull.
A new venue, and the Firebirds are hoping it might kick-start a new era. A winless fortnight to start the season has both clubs desperate for victory in week 3. Despite the Firebirds playing at home, the form guide slightly favours the Kestrels. The Melburnians went down by only 11 goals to the Swifts in week 1 before suffering a tight loss to Perth last weekend. On the other hand, the Sydney Swifts handed out a 33-goal hiding to the Firebirds last week after they opened their season with a creditable loss to the Phoenix. The intensity was evident from the opening whistle. The Kestrels led by 5, but with 7 to play before half-time, Queensland coach Vicky Wilson called in veteran Joe Morgan with immediate impact. Kestrels by 1 at the half, but the concern of coach Jane Searle grew. The Joe Show gave the Firebirds confidence and reason to believe at three-quarter time.
To win this game, you've got to take risks. You've got to take a gamble.
The Kestrels took a 1-goal lead into the final term, but this was to be a drought-breaking night for Queensland. At the final whistle, Firebirds 56, Kestrels 50, and Queensland's 16-game losing streak was over. Well, Chelsea, disappointing, no doubt. What do you think the difference was tonight?
Look, it's hard to say. I think that it was definitely our basic errors. We just made too many silly mistakes down the court, all the way down, and especially in our attack end. And yeah, I think that's the difference. We didn't convert on our turnovers, and it's so disappointing. Like, we really needed to come away with a win tonight, and we didn't. So yeah, we need to definitely go back to the drawing board, and we've got to work on our basics. It's as simple as that.
Well, tough luck for you tonight, but Joe Morgan, what a fantastic performance to come on halfway through the second quarter. Was that always the plan?
I was always ready to go, knowing in the mind if it wasn't working the attack end that I was going to go on. Might have been the last quarter, might have been after the first quarter, but I was ready to go whenever Vic wanted me to go on.
You've been brought into the Firebirds to try and boost them, give them some confidence down the front. Must be a pretty good night for yourself.
It is, and I can't say enough about these girls. They've been welcoming with open arms, and this team has deserved this win. If there's any team in the National League to deserve this win, it's these girls. They work so hard, and it's like putting on that maroon jersey, I guess, Queenslander, which is a bit odd for me to say, but there was a lot of passion and pride, and there were 7 girls out there, and the bench were fantastic.
Joe, congratulations on your performance. Well done.
Thank you.
So last year's Wooden Spooners win their first game of 2006 by 6 goals. Well, in week 3, 2 other teams were looking to open their account, the Hunter Jaegers and the AIS Canberra Darters. James Coventry is in Newcastle for us to cover this one.
Thanks, Quentin. We're at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre for the first time this year. And yes, the Hunter Jaegers are winless from their opening 2 games under new coach John Fletcher, but they've had a very tough start to the year. They've had to travel to both Perth and Adelaide for their opening games. So they're hoping some of this hometown support is just what they need to kick-start their year.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it as a team, James. We had a pretty tough start to the year, and I believe the crowd here gets right behind the girls, and everyone's excited about the night ahead.
The Canberra Darters are also searching for their first win, and coach Brenda Sherian has a simple plan.
Defensively, a lot more pressure. Hands over, back to the basics, really. Simple blocking, that sort of thing. In attack is letting the ball go and finding that space, definitely.
She wouldn't have been too happy then with her team's opening stanza, as loose ball and turnovers allowed the Jaegers to get an early jump. Hunter captain Jane Olschwager and her shooting partner Lara Wellham looked to have their eye in after delivering blow-par performances in the opening rounds.
I went out there with a totally different approach this time, and it just went, well, it's not working when I concentrate too much, so let's go out there and have a bit of a dance and warm up and relax a little.
The Jaegers' centre court was combining well and was providing their shooters with good clean ball, although the defensive pressure from the Darters was disappointing at times.
Our defenders need to put that pressure on a bit earlier. Our centre courts need to punch down and create a space, and our shooters definitely need to finish their shot off.
Still, they remained in touch at half-time. Sherian brought on Commonwealth Games defender Susan Furman to try to stifle the Hunter shooters. But it proved to be mission impossible as the wheels fell off the Darters' centre court. Wellham couldn't miss, and Olschwager was in imperious form.
I don't know, we were just playing to shut her down a bit more than we did. I don't know, but I think we went out on her and we had a good go.
By three-quarter time, the Jaggers would double the Darters' score, and they kept their foot on the pedal during the last term to record a 36-goal victory.
I thought our defensive pressure was very strong tonight, and I was really pleased the way we ran the ball hard through the court. We just kept on pushing the ball down the court and letting it go, and I thought that was a big difference tonight.
Who were the standout players for you?
Oh, I was really pleased with what our shooters did. Jane and Lara played a strong game in the circle. I thought our centre court, I thought all the centre court, I was really pleased with them, and our circle defenders stayed on the contest, so I just thought everybody had a good effort there tonight.
I guess it will be important for you now to string another good performance together after this one.
Oh, absolutely. We'll enjoy the moment here for tonight, and then we'll be straight back to work tomorrow and getting prepared for the next game. So we'll move straight into that Saturday.
Some happy players and some relieved coaches after those first up wins for both the Firebirds and the Jaggers. Let's move on now to our feature game from round 3. And matches between the Thunderbirds and Phoenix are always much anticipated. They're in good form. They've each won their first 2 rounds quite comfortably. So picking a winner is a tough job. Joining me in commentary at Etzer Park, Eloise Southby-Halbish. Melbourne Phoenix start the match in possession, and Chocolate at centre and Ingrid Dick at wing attack. We'll talk more about the teams in a moment, their lineups. Jackie Deshari and Nikki Boyd have the responsibility of looking after this one, and they'll be setting the tone early about how they want it played and how the defences will be tolerated. No surprises in that Thunderbirds line. Heinrich and Medhurst, the Von Bertos at wing attack and centre, Peter Schultz, Mandy Edwards, who played so well last week, and Bianca Reddy. So they're keeping Demelza Fellows on the bench. Marg Angove is the coach. And for Phoenix, Sinna Kidd and Sherelle McMahon. Ingrid Dick at wing attack, and I'll get your comments about that in a moment, Eloise. Chocolate, Renee Hallinan, Prendergast and Chatfield. What do you make of the attacking line?
Well, obviously it is slightly different for the Phoenix to start with Ingrid Dick at wing attack. But look, she has experience and she has been playing there last year probably about 5 times. And she does feed very well to Sherelle McMahon. So I think they've lost nothing with making that move.
Medhurst to Heinrich.
Oh, there's a bit of biffo happening in there early.
Yeah, it's Ms. Chatfield. Heinrich off to Medhurst. And they again shot in the 80s last week. Heinrich 83%, Medhurst 89.
Absolutely phenomenal shooting there by the Thunderbirds in the last couple of weeks, actually. So they'll want to continue that trait tonight.
Ingrid Dick looking for Sherelle McMahon, finds her, off to Sinna Kidd. It'll take a little bit of getting used to for commentators, I think, to call her by her new last name. And her husband is a netballer.
He is, yes. Garth actually plays in the Australian men's team, also for Victoria, so he's very supportive of Sinna's commitments to netball, which is fantastic.
Held ball against the Thunderbirds. They'll be lucky to keep that, Melbourne Phoenix. Almost threw one away. McMahon. Sinna Kidd trying to dish off to Sherelle McMahon. Reddy had a hand on it, but it's a shot for Phoenix, and 2-2 with a couple of minutes gone.
Now, early in the game, obviously Sherelle and Sinna are actually playing together quite nicely, feeding into one another, so that is a good scene for the Melbourne Phoenix early on.
Ingrid Dick over to Sinna Kidd. She made a nice move along the baseline, and McMahon takes the rebound with that legendary vertical jump that she has.
Yeah, it's about 60 centimetres, so it's quite phenomenal for a female to get that up that high.
Matt Womberto to Laura, to her sister, and a nice couple of moves from Heinrich and Medhurst just to split the defenders. Chocolate to McMahon, with Dick in the corner. Well, you know, did you play advantage there?
Well, I probably would have, just so the speed on the ball keeps flowing rather than stopping.
Yeah. Medhurst to Nat Bomberto. Heinrich. This is a good match early. Medhurst has taken all the shots for the Thunderbirds to this point. Heinrich backs in on Chatfield. Chatfield just trying to push her out of the circle. Great one-on-one tussle that. And a good ball through Nat Bomberto to Medhurst. 7:50 left in the first quarter. And a bright start by both teams. High shooting percentage, 100% for the Thunderbirds. 88 for Phoenix. Sinekid, not quite, and Schultz takes it away.
That's why in the attack end you have to go with two, and it was a great intercept there by Natasha Chocolate. If you don't go with two hands, Peter Scholes will be in there and cleaning up.
Phoenix trim it to one. They need a little turnover here to get back on level terms. Bomberto, Heinrich. The match here last year, which Phoenix lost 54-50, that was a match, I think, where Sherelle McMahon was just coming back, only played half a game. And then later in the season, Phoenix clobbered the Thunderbirds 67-41. And Sinekid would not have particularly good memories of here. When she playing for the Kestrels last year, had that big collision with Peter Scholes that left her concussed, and she had a checkered 2005. Gee.
That could have nearly been another concussion there, Steve.
Well, Mandy Edwards is a strongly built girl. If you want to run into her, as Sherelle McMahon did, you may pay a cost.
She might be a bit sore tomorrow after that one.
Heinrich. The screen from Medhurst was almost in the way until Natalie moved aside. And 11-8.
They've started well, the Thunderbirds. They certainly have. Again, they're saying a deliberate call there on Renee Hallinan, that she's deliberately breaking to jump over the line in order to stop the Bomberto from getting out really quickly.
Heinrich. Great shot. 3 in a row again from the Thunderbirds. They're just starting to break it open here. And the speed of Nat Bomberto creates the turnover. Lateral ball to Scholes. Oh, that just put Nat Bomberto under a little bit of pressure. Hallinan had a good look at it, but gave up the penalty. And Heinrich, a slick move along the baseline again. And they've got to be a bit concerned on the Phoenix bench, Eloise.
They do, and I think one thing that is of concern is they are chasing in defence. If you look, the Thunderbirds are really just, patient, working it in like they did just then. Medhurst to Heinrich, and they're finishing off. They're great shooters, and you can't get them on the run.
5 in a row for the T-Birds. Super understanding between Heinrich and Medhurst. He's working a treat, getting plenty of physical attention from Prendergast and Chatfield. Nat Bomberto, oh, they're lucky that was a contact. A little raise of the eyebrows from Nat Bomberto as that ball sailed over her head out of court. But there's infringement in the circle. Heinrich, sweet shot. Thunderbirds by 5. 2:40 left in the first quarter. Laura Bomberto to Heinrich. To Nat. Nat to Nat. Medhurst. What a first quarter in terms of the Thunderbird shooting. 17 straight. Chocolate. McMahon put on a couple of moves, dodged some traffic, got the pass. Sinekid. Instruction against Reddy. Penalties fairly even through the first quarter as Sinekid puts another one through. Just a few difference in the penalties. Nat Bomberto, another roll from Heinrich, better read by Chatfield. Oh, she was there again, arms up at the post. Pick me, pick me. And they did eventually. Heinrich again. Off to Medhurst. Chatfield out. Should be number 18. No defence.
I don't think both the anchor Chatfield and Julie Prendergast will be happy at that. At the moment, the T-Birds shooters are just really bursts of speed are killing them, so they're going to have to look at that at quarter time.
Kid. 80 seconds left in the first. And after they went goal for goal for about the first 6 or 7 minutes, Thunderbirds established a break and they've held on to it.
Oh.
Contact, goal defense.
Heinrich. Well, this is a high-scoring and very accurate first quarter from the Thunderbirds. 19 from 19, and they've probably got time for one more, depending on how long Phoenix takes to get a shot away here. 87% is pretty good for Phoenix. It's a rare day when it's made to look ordinary.
Exactly. Well, it's where you want to be. Anything in the high 80s to 100% is great shooting. So certainly both teams are up there with that.
Now that's against Chocolate, so it's advanced the edge of the circle. Lomberto pushed out by Chatfield. Both shooters out. Now Heinrich makes a way in. And contact against Chatfield. So 7 or 8 seconds left. Medhurst should be able to put this one away.
Phenomenal shooting.
That's all there'll be. A 20-goal first quarter for the Thunderbirds as Nicky Boyd ends the first period. Well, the Thunderbirds fans, smiles on their faces. It's been a tremendous first 15 from them, and they lead it 20-14. Here we go, chasing a 6-goal deficit, Phoenix, and I'll have to do it initially without the ball as Thunderbirds have it. The start of the second. Contact against goal defence, Julie Prendergast. They do have Joanna Curran to call on if they want to defensively. And she was a star last year, Eloise. Is she having trouble getting on the court?
No, it is actually like that. I just know from what I learned as a player, your first year you can tend to come on and fire out of the blocks and nobody knows how to play you. And then suddenly, second year in, all the good players have worked you out.
How good was that from Nat Bomberto? Somehow she kept it in. Great umpiring too. She had a foot on the line but not over it. And pretty good all around.
I think we could call her Twinkle Toes after that one.
Oh, it's a good effort. And Heinrich finishes it. But Nat Bomberto got the juggled ball, and the footwork was brilliant. And to get the pull away to Heinrich wasn't much of a pass. How could it be? And that'll be a Thunderbirds ball as well. They're doing these little 1%ers, Eloise.
They are. They really count in a tough match when both teams are quite even. There's 1% of the things that will get you over the line, and that's what the Thunderbirds at this stage are doing much better than the Phoenix.
Can they maintain this intensity? What can Phoenix come up with to upset this rhythm, this timing, this intensity?
Well, exactly, and as I said, Peter Scholes and Mandy Edwards are the ones really making this drive through the centre court and feeding onto the Vonnies. So that's something where the girls there, Sherelle McMahon and Ingrid Dick, have to really get on them and try and put more pressure there.
Contact against Chatfield, so Heinrich presented with that shot. 24 from 24. 5 minutes gone in the second quarter, and Thunderbirds have pushed it out to 25-16.
That was a great roll by Sinner, and as you can see, Phoenix now are keeping just one player in the goal ring there, keeping it nice and open for Sinner to weave her magic.
Heinrich to the corner. Great touch from Hallinan, and I think they've just stepped up a little, Phoenix, in the last couple of minutes. A little bit trapped by this great all-court defence from Thunderbirds. And Schultz bursting through, couldn't quite take it. Checked the umpire to see whose throw-in it was, and it's Phoenix.
When someone plays on Peter Scholes, they always have the tendency to try and leave early because she has got such speed and pace. And yet they forget that she does come through so well. So that's one thing you have to do when you play on her, is hold your lead and try and keep in front.
Oh, the rebound through hands and to Ingrid Dick, so it comes back to Sinakid. Thunderbirds did a lot of hard work there for no reward, but they're still up by 7.
But even though there was no reward, for Phoenix, it's the persistence for the Thunderbirds to always be there in the contest, and I think it's always in the back of your mind when you're attacking.
Kidd, once more. So 3 in a row for Phoenix. Medhurst. And Heinrich unmarked at the post. And they still haven't missed an attempt. Heinrich and Medhurst. Heinrich 16 from 16. And there we are, Medhurst. An even 10. Sinakid once more. And she's shooting well at 14 from 17. Sherelle McMahon has only had 6 attempts, Eloise.
Yeah, she has only had 6 attempts, but she's doing a lot of work, and Mandy Edwards is muscling up to her, which is great for the Thunderbirds. Again, they pulled it in unbelievably.
The over the shoulder, I'm not really looking pass from Kristen Heinrich.
They just have such a great understanding, the Thunderbirds, and you know that every time that the Phoenix go to play them, you know that that is a big, powerful weapon of theirs, their attack end.
McMahon, good split. Gets the obstruction out of Reddy. I'm having a quick chat to Jackie Jashari about what Bianca Reddy was up to. So just leaning in a little bit, do you think?
Well, leaning in, and why wouldn't you, really? Try to put her off somehow.
All the information about the league and netball matters on our website at abc.net.au/netball. Week 3 we're up to. And plenty of talking points already this season, particularly the great form of the Perth Orioles. 28-21, 6:40 left in the second, and I'm sure there'll be some young players across the league, particularly Eloise, pleased. A brief comment from me about this, about the pay dispute now being behind them, and they can focus solely on the games and training.
Yeah, certainly. The Australian Netball Players Association signed the first ever collective bargaining agreement with Netball Australia and the member organisation, so that was settled this week. We're just finalising the vote from our members now, but verbally it's been agreed, and it's a fantastic thing for the young players because now they'll start getting paid.
That's got to be good. Heinrich casually off to Medhurst.
Is only minimal, but at least they're getting paid something. And great rebound there by Julie. They'll be spewing they missed that. Now they're not 100%. 10
from 11 for Medhurst. Well caught by Todd Miller, his first possession of the game on the stats bench.
Goalkeeper holding. Yes, hands off.
Thunderbirds haven't been able to really increase their lead. It's come back to 6-5 now. With 6 at quarter time. It blew out in the early stages of the second quarter.
I think the Thunderbirds will be disappointed that they've let the Phoenix come back into this match.
Good attempt from Medhurst. Got a touch. Swooped on though. And Scholes has had another go.
Oh, fantastic flip in there by Medhurst. Kept it on the run to the Vonnie.
Heinrich. Ooh, tough pass, but Medhurst has picked it up.
Absolute precision pass. This will be the turnover. Flicked in by Medhurst. Down to Natalie Bonberto. And then she fed it in beautifully again back to her under the post.
Turnover in the centre third. Held ball. 29-23 the Thunderbirds. Under 5 minutes left in the second. The touch was from Reddy, so that'll be a Phoenix ball.
That's the second pass Sinners actually hasn't placed into the space of her teammate so that they can run onto the ball. So that's something she'll be working on in the next couple of minutes.
Nice setup there from Phoenix, though, as McMahon ran to the top of the circle and Kidd broke across there. Ingrid Dick and Mandy Edwards. And
I actually think that was very unlucky from Mandy Edwards. I would have thought she really had the hand to the ball first.
I think there's about 2,000 people who agree with you.
For once. Watch them. Yep, she's nearly had 2 hands on. Ing didn't have 2 hands, so interesting call.
Umberto to Heinrich. Laura Bomberto, well-placed ball for Medhurst, but Prendergast did enough to put her off.
With a great little hand in there. She had a great stretch down low and got a tip on it, which Renee Hallinan picked up.
Ingrid Dick, a comfortable feed, and McMahon should finish. And Phoenix 3 in a row, and 3 is the difference. I don't think Marg Ango will be too happy with this rejuvenated Phoenix display. Phoenix have scored the last 4. They've roared back into contention here. They were 10 down in this second quarter.
I suppose that's a really big feature of both the Thunderbirds and the Phoenix. They will never say die attitude, both teams. So you're always in for a tough contest for all 4 quarters.
Thunderbirds are still 30 from 31. The defensive intensity certainly stepped up from Phoenix in this second quarter. It's a change of end for them. I don't know whether they're adjusting better to the umpiring at that end. Wouldn't like to suggest that, but sometimes matches follow that pattern. Medhurst, Laura Bomberto, Heinrich. Back to Schultz. And that'll be a Thunderbirds ball, so 2:25 left.
Great work from Julie Prendergast. She's getting a lot of tips on the ball. I think what Natalie Medhurst will probably look to do now is just take that extra step onto the ball to not enable Julie to come around on it. She just looks so fluent. Carl's got a great shot.
Fine shot from Medhurst, 12 from 13. Sinakid. Great breaks from McMahon, who just seemed to go from full speed to nothing in 2 strides.
And that's why it's so hard to play on her, because she is extremely fast and she does have the ability to stop.
I feel I could smell a bit of burning rubber after that.
Well, it's like that. Her Puma shoes, she goes bang, off she goes.
Sometimes Heinrich's moves are so good that teammates don't always pick up her availability. That was another case in point.
Yeah, exactly. Smart feed there into the corner, got a dish back.
Long range shot, and Chatfield pulls down the miss. Just a second for the match. The Chocolate picks up the scraps. Ingrid Dick, Sinakid made the roll. Just over a minute until half-time. And Sinner missed a couple early in the match, but hardly since. 20 from 23 now. She was 74% last week against lesser opposition, so it's a terrific effort from her.
And this is what she has to do, actually, because the Thunderbirds are going to target Sherelle McMahon. She's a key player, and they're going to try and stop her. So
31 all. So they were down 24 to 14. Chocolate mishandled that one, but gets the penalty. McMahon swings it across to Ingrid Dick, and Sinakid just backs in a little closer. 32 all. What a second half we're in for here. Medhurst at least want to have the lead, even if it's only 1. Heinrich. Medhurst should get the shot away. Not successfully, though. And that should be that. And the ball trickles away from Bianca Chatfield. Time's up by our reckoning, but yeah. There we go. That's it.
Sherelle's actually really disappointed. She's near our bench and she's obviously wanting to get that last shot up, but it didn't happen. Time was called.
So a wonderful second quarter from Melbourne Phoenix to come back from 10 down at one stage, and at half-time at Etsa Park between Thunderbirds and Phoenix, it's 32 all. Let's do it all over again. Scores level at half-time. And some changes as the coaches look for something special in the third quarter. Demelza Fellows is in possession there at goalkeeper. So Bianca Reddy is off. She did give up 12 penalties for Melbourne Phoenix.
And interesting to note that Joanna Curran's come on at wing defence, and both her and Demelza Fellows took the first 2 intercepts in the second quarter.
McMahon. She, like Heinrich, has not missed. Sherelle on 11 from 11. Just shooting right out of the top draw. Bomberto. Heinrich. Oh, gee, she got one for trouble there.
I think the umpire was actually behind the baseline and couldn't see that contact.
And see what we saw. Ingrid Dick down the line. It's in a kid. Nice move to get there ahead of Mandy Edwards.
Oh, great speed there by Natasha on the run. That came in far too easy.
36 all. Terrific match unfolding here at Etsa Park. We picked it as the match of the season so far, and it's living up to those hopes. It's worth pointing out that this year there are no draws in the rounds. They'll play extra time if we're tied up after 60 minutes. One of the changes that kind of came through a bit quietly.
Like a bullet, and nice turnover there by the Thunderbirds. They want to capitalise on this one and score the goal.
Eloise, you're happy with the change to the competition rules, no draws for the 14 home and away rounds?
Well, it does make it very exciting. But look, I was an old duck at the end of last year, and I just like to end on a draw and take a seat and have a rest. So I feel sorry for them, really. But it is good for the game.
You're an old duck, okay.
Yep, that's it.
I was when I played for 14 years at this level. Started too young.
Yeah, that's right. Started when you were 8.
Yeah, 15 actually.
Sinner Kid, oh, she just knew where Sherelle McMahon was. That was a real, almost a radar pass.
Great.
That pass was on its way before she saw her, I'm certain.
Which is one thing you have to do when you do play with Sherelle McMahon. You've got to literally learn to pass without looking. That was a bad pass there, and it probably could have been pulled in by Sinner, so she'd be disappointed with that.
Edwards, Scholes, nice triangular setup across the defence. Medhurst, Heinrich, contact. Contact, right shirt front. Absolutely squashed Heinrich against the post, which thankfully is padded.
The fans loved it, didn't they, though? Bit of biffo.
She did not even wince. Top that, bang. Oh, it wasn't so bad, actually.
No. Made all the fans get off their seats, though.
It's funny how in slow motion it looks a bit slower.
Because it is.
That'll be it.
Vantage offside, boy! Vantage offside! Wing defence offside.
Karen and Jackie Jashari having a bit of a chuckle.
She looked like she was having a bit of beat skating then, Joe, rather than actually playing. She's got the click of the fingers feeling, she's saying.
Vantage offside.
Medhurst. All tied up at 41 apiece. Late in the third quarter. Chocolate. Biggest lead I think Phoenix have had has been 2, Todd. Yep, thank you. Edwards, Laura Bomberto. Eloise, have you noticed that Todd's not smiling as much as he was early in the match when the Thunderbirds were up by a lot?
Oh, I know he's a Thunderbirds fan.
Neutral stats. McMahon.
We even up though, Todd, don't we?
Centre contact advantage offside.
Ingrid Pick, top of the circle. Ooh, Fellows nearly got a fingertip to it. The good.
Oh, great jump. Oh, disappointing. I thought she held that well, Demelza, over Sherelle, who gives away a lot of height. But unfortunately, the umpire called her for obstruction.
I'm impressed to hear you defending defenders from time to time, Eloise.
Oh, you can't take away from a good defence. I love it. You know, when someone rejects a shot, great defence there.
Great hands up, and Phoenix. And a penalty against Edwards, well outside the circle. So here's a good setup for Phoenix.
And when you have this play, you really want to make sure you capitalise on it. And Phoenix will be disappointed with that because you want to deliver straight in when there's only one defender in there to play with.
That's Bomberto. Made up the penalty, and McMahon eventually does finish. And Phoenix by 2.
it's a close game, and it's just getting more exciting as the minutes tick by.
Oh, Fellows, good charge.
She's come on and played very well, taken a number of intercepts and keeps trying and persisting. She really wants to pull in some for the Thunderbirds.
Contact wing, advantage contact wing.
To Chocolate and back.
Goal kick, you need to clear.
They're saying she's not pulling back out of that contact early enough, so she's standing there and that's okay, but she's got to get back a lot quicker.
McMahon wins the rebound. And have they got their biggest lead of the match? They do now. Phoenix by 3.
Interesting to see that Sherelle McMahon then stepped back on that shot. It was because the last one that Demelza Fellows defended on her, she intercepted, so put her hands over and nearly got on the shot. So it was great to see her step back then because of Demelza's pressure.
Scholes. Now Heinrich.
Wing defense, contact.
Again, Joey Curran's having a laugh.
Oh, it's funny, isn't it? Medhurst. Bit of a screen from Heinrich and a much-needed goal for the Thunderbirds. And Medhurst is down to 77%. Thunderbirds overall 82.
When you look at those shooting percentages and the fact that now Medhurst has gone down slightly, I think it's a credit to the defensive pressure that Phoenix kept putting on in order to get that percentage down.
45-42 for Phoenix. Just 20 seconds for the Thunderbirds to get it back to a couple. They should have enough time. And they get away an accurate shot. No, Chatfield did well. Heinrich bursts through the defence, puts her hands up, say, here I am.
Great speed then by Laura Bomberto. Just knew where Heinrich was going to open under the post. So fantastic work by Laura then.
Kidd, can she get the shot away? Now Fellows gave up the contact in the last second. So McMahon gets away one that counts. And what a last quarter we've got. They were down by 6 at quarter time, level at half time, Phoenix. And now 3 to the good. It's 46-43. Here we go, the last quarter, Thunderbirds and Phoenix. And there's no doubt that Phoenix have improved across the match. Heinrich. So Fiona Poynton on at goal defence, replacing Mandy Edwards. Fellows, of course, came on after half-time to replace Bianca Reddy. So a different defence for the Thunderbirds. Started the match so well. Phoenix climbing their way steadily back into it. I think you've got to give credit to the mental toughness of Phoenix here, Eloise, for being 10 down and just chipping away, not trying to do it all in a hurry.
Exactly, and that's something that the Phoenix culture has really prided themselves on, is we never give up no matter how far down we are. And look, 10 goals, you're still in it. As I said, you get every second centre pass.
Heinrich off to Medhurst. Heinrich stepping in to try and help screen, and doing that successfully. So won the difference.
It does help when your other shooter actually screens the defender when you go to shoot, so it really enables you just to have a clear shot at goal.
You just saw that little Thunderbirds supporter. She has just enjoyed this match so much, getting a real roller coaster ride of emotions too, I think, as the team swapped the lead.
Oh, fantastic shot there by Medhurst. Bianca was crawling down ready to jump, and she just put it up anyway, didn't even consider that.
Thunderbirds get the last 3, get up to 46 all. Chocolate. Sinakid.
Contact keeper. Pushing back on her keeper. Yes, second. No, you're there. Second.
We felt that was fairly unlucky then on Demelza again. I think that Sherelle had left that body contest, and it was just should have been play on.
Talk about that one later. Now Bomberto. Medhurst.
I'm sure the umpires would welcome me in with open arms to have a discussion.
Curran, I think you're being mischievous. I'm just going to let that one go through to the keeper.
No, they're fine. They loved me as a player.
Prendergast had a great game. Chocolate, oh, she got a bit of a hand over the shoulder there from Scholes, but it was play on. Probably a good no call. I like it when the non-offending team is just allowed to play on. Medhurst to the pocket. Laura von Berto. Heinrich trying to roll away from Chatfield. Not easy. That's a good ball. Prendergast, that was pretty late.
It was late. She was tripping over everyone then. She wouldn't be happy with that.
I was expecting the umpire not to be happy, but they let that one go.
I think Nikki Boyd has let a lot more go. She hasn't really been quite stern with her calls to the players as much as Jackie.
Now, turnover at the centre pass, favouring the Thunderbirds, and breaking, so Thunderbirds looking to do something about this deficit. They don't want to leave it too late. Trying to haul in a couple of goals in the last 2 or 3 minutes against Phoenix would be asking a lot. Do it now. And they've got the centre pass. Quite a high-scoring game for such good defences, but the accuracy of the goal shooting has been a feature.
It sure has, and it's just been a phenomenal effort by both teams. There's just been some tremendous skills and ability out there, and it's great to see that both goal ends are finishing off, and there's plenty of turnovers as well.
A miss from Heinrich. And they really start to hurt now. You can kind of forget how accurate they were early in the match if they miss one when it's getting tight. Oh,
great pick up.
Laura von Berto just had an edge of speed over Curran. What a great dice that was. And Heinrich puts the double dodge on, puts it away, and there we are, 50 all. Margengo gives us a smile. That's it. Lovely to see. Ingrid Dick. Just a reminder, we won't have a draw. We've got to have a winner. We will play extra time. A new rule in 2006. McMahon available. Chocolate finds her.
Great feed in by Chocolate on the outside there on the edge. What she did is fork the ball, and it looked as though it was going to Sinner Kidd, and then obviously Sherelle opened and she passed it there.
Medhurst. Laura von Berto is still as full of running in the fourth quarter as she was in the first. Oh, Ingrid Dick just offside. Ingrid looks as fit and fast as she did 10 years ago.
She's always one of the fittest down at the club. And she looks so comfortable in centre.
Medhurst starting to sink the ones that matter. 51 all. What a match.
She's got her shooting percentage back up into the 80s now, Medhurst, which is great. It's what the Thunderbirds need. In crucial times like this, you've got to score. Every time you put a shot up, you've got to score. So you want to try and work it in as close as you can.
Phoenix lead the head-to-head count 18 wins to 9, and there's been just one draw, and of course there won't be another one. That's it, unless they go back to having draws, which I very much doubt.
Great pass there to the top of the circle, but Ronnie's really had that connection.
Thunderbirds are starting to play a little more like they did in the first quarter.
And that's the way to do it. You want to do it in 3 passes and get the ball in the hoop.
Chocolate. Sinner Kidd can't keep it in. She just didn't read the pass, or the pass wasn't quite right. Some of each, perhaps.
Well, yeah, probably in dire situations when it is goal for goal in a match, you've got to pull the ball in with 2 hands.
Scholes finds Poynton. Gee, these lateral passes are a bit dangerous.
They're going lateral because they're finding it hard to find space down into the attack end.
Medhurst has it. Back to Laura von Berto. And Chatfield gives up the penalty.
Had to be contact there. The ankle was riding up the back of her then. You can hear the crowd. They're excited.
Nearly hear Margot. She was clapping the good work of her goalers. And they've hit the front again, the Thunderbirds. And we want to look after this centre pass. And Medhurst swoops on the loose one. It'll come back to her. And the Thunderbirds are going to be up by 2 here. And the young fans go nuts. Well, if this is a preview of matches later in the season, then bring it on. This is terrific netball. It's got drama, it's got quality. And who's it going to be?
Well, they've called obstruction on Demelza Fellows there, which is fairly unlucky because Sinner did actually step in. But Sinner, great that she's got the penalty pass or shot for Phoenix. She's got to now sink it.
Longer range shot. She's short, but takes the rebound. Followed it in. Oh, and again. And this time.
She wanted it to look fancy. It was great that she finally finished it off.
Thunderbirds have got to make every pass count. So too, Phoenix. Oh, Medhurst. There was again that moment of availability from Heinrich. Doesn't matter.
One thing that the Thunderbirds are doing extremely well is they're shooting from a closer range. Phoenix, when they get it, they're actually shooting a longer way out, which isn't a higher percentage shot. So that's what the Thunderbirds are doing extremely well.
Both on 85%. The teams, McMahon. Obstruction against Fellows. McMahon the shot. And they get it back to 1. 3.5 to go. Game of the season it has turned out to be. Heinrich, a big cheer. She takes the pass and puts it away.
Fantastic effort by Heinrich. What she had was both bench defenders back in the circle defending her, double teaming, and she still came out with the ball.
Sinakid. Oh, good disguise on that pass. And a nice bounce pass from McMahon. The kid, she gets it.
I think we're just passing any way we can to get a score here. It's tremendous. Look at the pressure, trying to weave the ball down into the attack end. The Thunderbirds going back, then going forward.
Neither side showing any sign of crumbling under this enormous pressure, this great tension. Medhurst, can she keep it going? She can. Thunderbirds by 2. Oh, McMahon had to be quick. She was. Ingrid Dick almost casually working with Sinakid. Oh, Fellows did so well. But now it's with McMahon.
What Demelza Fellows will be extremely disappointed that one of her wings didn't crumb for her to pick up that loose ball.
Laura Bomberto, sister Natalie. That's a nice way to work the possession in the corner. All right, no mistakes here for the Thunderbirds. Heinrich. Just watching the body language of Todd here. He's a really rocking, trying to ride that ball through the hoop. It's working, Todd. It's
I don't
working.
know how you're coping, because I'm doing the same thing when the Phoenix get the ball.
I don't have as much invested as you two. 58-56, and the Thunderbirds have possession. 1:30 to go. They ought to be able to see it home from here, unless the Phoenix can find an intercept in the next few seconds. Heinrich. Time is on the Thunderbirds side. And the biggest lead for Phoenix, Todd, was at 4 or 3? 3 it was. Thunderbirds led by as many as 10. And a game of swinging momentums. .59-56 inside the last minute. A marvellous game from all players. Heinrich having to put 2 and 3 moves on just to set herself some space.
Kept in really well there by Nat Bomberto, just on her fingertips.
The passes made under pressure and successfully done by the Thunderbirds have been a real feature of this match for me. They've scored 3 in a row and have just about home now. 60-56. Chocolate. And trying to the last, Nat Bomberto. Time is going to beat Phoenix. A fantastic run over the last quarter from the Thunderbirds, and a call against Sinakid will wrap it up for the Thunderbirds.
And that's been a great move by Margango. Demelza Fellows has done her job on Sinakid. She has stopped her.
And there it is, the end of a terrific match at Etzer Park. They didn't even hear the whistle, the players. Such was their commitment to the moment. But it's 61 to 56. And the Thunderbirds have prevailed to win it by 5. Julie Hornwick, Margango, see you again next time, and we'll see if we can get a different result.
Thanks, Steve, and welcome to the Wollongong Entertainment Centre, the venue for this East versus West clash. Now, both these teams are flying high after back-to-back wins to start the season. The Sydney Swifts have looked impressive in both their opening games, while the Perth Orioles have been the big improvers of the competition so far, and we'll soon see if they can continue on that winning run. Let's see what both coaches have to say ahead of the match.
Well, obviously we're really happy with how we've started. You know, both Jaegers and Kestrels ended up above us on the ladder last year, and we wanted to continue our development as a team. And it'll be a good test tonight to see where we are against Swifts. You know, they've been one of the form teams in the competition in the 10 years, so we're pretty excited to match ourselves against them tonight.
From those 2 wins, we've brought out a few things that we'd like to fix, but we're also quite excited by the form of the Orioles. I think it's been great for the competition, so we've been concentrating a lot on their game and how we think we can get on top of them as well.
The young Perth side came out of the blocks quickly, with Caitlin Bassett continuing her strong form to give the Orioles an early lead. The Perth defence looked solid, but there's no better defender in the competition than Sydney's Liz Ellis. 3 quick goals from Kath Cox sent Sydney to the lead at the first break, 11-7. During the break, Carol Byers looked to settle her side.
You're really doing the job, and you're really forcing the errors, and then every take they've got, you're really putting the pressure on. Great work, and keep the drive up.
In the second quarter, Sydney's experience started to tell as Cox stretched the lead. Bassett and Beveridge were forced to work hard to keep the Orioles within 10 goals, and it was 25-16 at half-time. Into the second half, and Sydney was in control at both ends of the court. As the match wore on, the Swifts started to look a class above their enthusiastic opponents.
In a circle, but you're not getting that drive across so that you can bring it to the transfer. And I want him to stay back a little bit, particularly with Kath in there, and just take the long one when she comes just over the line.
In the end, it was a comfortable Swifts victory, 52 goals to 36.
I guess tonight probably wasn't our prettiest effort, but it was nice to be able to come out and take the physical effort from Perth and be able to stand up and knock the ball through a bit. I guess we don't want to be playing perfect netball at this stage of the season, so it's nice to be 3 from 3 and knowing that we can play better.
Cox top scored for the Swifts with 34 from 41 attempts, while Bassett led the way for Perth with 26 goals.
We turned the ball over heaps, obviously, but you know, Swifts have some great defenders, and we were just losing the ball coming into the circle. I think, you know, it's very physical out there, got a bit knocked around, and yeah, it just didn't happen the way we wanted to, I suppose.
So the Sydney Swifts roll on to a 3rd straight win, and Perth has slumped to its first loss of the season, but one.
We just want to make sure that we keep doing the things that we've been doing well over the last few weeks, making sure we bring the ball out strongly from defence and quickly through the centre court and then into the goalies, and hopefully we can get into a good scoring position.
And they know plenty about scoring, this team, under Margango, and unbeaten this season, and it's interesting to have 2 sides coming to this match so full of confidence, but certainly even on the road you have to pick this team with Heinrich and Medhurst in such sparkling form. And Alison, they've got a great combination going, Heinrich and Medhurst.
Oh, look, they're so difficult to play against, I have to say, and it's one thing that they certainly have the accuracy there, and the girls are getting the ball into them so nicely, so it'd be great to watch them tonight.
And what a happy bunch the Firebirds are these days, particularly after last week's result, and I think generally a more content crew under Vicky Wilson, who's got a different style, no doubt. Calls a spade, Vicky has done from the first day I met her, and she's just a wonderful coach and former player, and doing great things with the Firebirds. And Sam Dennis is down courtside again for us this week. Sam, how do you see this one?
Thanks, guys. Well, both teams are coming off a great win from last week, in particular Thunderbirds. I really think they're going to be full of confidence, knowing they're going into round 4 undefeated. In saying that, I don't want them just to work against them. I don't want them to go into the game too relaxed, so hopefully they can keep the intensity from last week. Looking at the Firebirds, I really feel they're going to have to pick up the game a level or 2. I think they've got the ability in the team to do that, and definitely the coach this year. One to watch will be Jo Morgan. She's new to the team, but she has the tendency to shoot extremely well under pressure. So you never know, it could be 2004 repeats itself.
Yes, 2004, last round, the Firebirds got up over the Thunderbirds, 55-53. So a sweet memory there to hang on to. And in fact, before last week, that was their most recent win. So what can they do? They'll certainly give 100%. And they're ready to be introduced to a good crowd here at Chandler, as Heinrich and Medhurst lead out the Thunderbirds. But Thunderbirds beat the Darters 68-37, the Jaegers 63-28, 61-56 over Phoenix last week. So, Alison, for me, one of the problems for the Firebirds is that you know the Thunderbirds are going to score 60 goals plus.
Well, it's exactly right, and I think the defence of the Firebirds are going to have a work cut out for them tonight. But, you know, they've got to stop the ball before it gets into Nat and Kristen, because once the girls get the ball in there, they're going to put it up and they're going to get it. Simple as that. Interesting that
Demelza Fellows, who's just come on now, has travelled this week. Margango did have a policy of travelling just 10. She's travelled 11 this week, plays 12 at her home games. But Demelza played so well when she came on a later match against Phoenix. I wonder if she hasn't been rewarded for that with a trip to Brisbane.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.
Guess what? The Firebirds are about to be introduced on court. Carla Jawaki and Belinda Dever. So Jo Morgan on the bench to start. She shot 28 from 32 last week, Jo Morgan, so could be a real impact player in this one. Kira Tromp. Peter Stevens. And Mel McKenzie. You're telling me you're related to Kira Tromp?
I am related. Apparently third or fourth cousin, so there you go. It's all in the family.
Okay, and out comes Jo. What an addition to the team. What experience she brings. So the subs, Jo Morgan, Elisa Castrissos, Megan Rooney, Simone Nalatu and Amanda Lucas. They lost in round one 58-46 to Phoenix, and in fact led Phoenix at half-time and lost 71-38 to the Swifts. Our umpires are ready for us. Louise McMeeking and Nikki Boyd.
I think they're changing ends. What do you reckon?
A little misunderstanding there between about who was going which way.
Happens every day.
Hopefully only once in this one.
Yeah, fair enough.
We're set. And the Thunderbirds start the match in possession. And at the speed of their mid-court, the accuracy of their feeding is always a feature. How will it go today? As Medhurst prepares to put up the first shot. Had a bit of a back problem during the week, but has recovered fully and looks ready to play. And Louise McMeeking running this side. Nikki Boyd on the far side. Lovely take from Carla Jawaki, one of those effortless players.
Certainly was. Nice and easy.
Umberto's work it to Heinrich. Back to Scholes. And the teams lining up this way. Carla Jawaki and Belinda Dever. Just keeping Jo Morgan aside for the moment. Lauren Nurse, Karen Clark and Kira Tromp across the middle. Peter Stevens and Mel McKenzie, the circle defenders under Vicky Wilson. And the Thunderbirds start as they did last week. Heinrich, Medhurst, the Umbertos, Scholes, Edwards and Reddy. And of course the Demelza Fellows, who came on and played such an influential part in defence last week. She's on the bench along with Kirby Mutton, Fiona Poynton and Amanda Martin. Medhurst.
The girls don't miss too many of those, and Mel McKenzie and Peter Stevens really have to get up for those rebounds just then, so not too bad.
Clark throws one away, and 63-40 the last time they met, and 16-2 the Thunderbirds over the Firebirds. But the really notable win for the Firebirds over the Thunderbirds, 2004 last round, and it really upset the Thunderbirds' run into the semi-finals. Stevens to Clark, 34 years young.
Exactly right.
Players go in their 30s, no problem.
She'll get you after the game, you know that.
That'll be fine. She can run faster, but I'm taller. Deva, a few years away from this lead, but good to see her back. And a 2-2 start in the first couple of minutes at Chandler. Scholes off to Medhurst. And a great ball finds Heinrich unattended at the post. Mackenzie was nearby, but not close enough.
Yeah, it was a lovely ball thrown there.
Pass will beat the player most times if it's good. Nurse.
You can really see the Firebirds actually being quite patient around this area here, so it's good to see.
Deva. Jawaki led all the way out to the transverse line. So Thunderbirds, mission number one, stick with the Thunderbirds for as long as they possibly can, and then maybe they'll get the wobbles. Start to, the Thunderbirds I'm talking about, if you can keep the pressure on them for long enough, they'll start to wonder.
Well, you never know. It is sport after all.
And there's Heinrich missing one early. It's not quite on her best, but she can have games like this. She's on 2 from 4 at the moment, and she just works her way in, and by the end of the match, she'll be up to 85%.
Yeah, and they're the ones that Mel and Pete really need to get up for, because they're not going to miss them later on in the match.
That's right. They're not a team that give you a lot of opportunities to take rebounds, the Thunderbirds, because they shoot so accurately. And ready to Edwards and Scholes. Nat Bomberto across to the pocket for Laura, but it's got to come back. And Heinrich. One of the features of their play last week, Alison, was that they got themselves in better shooting position, closer to the post than Phoenix could.
Well, they certainly haven't shot many far balls yet, so they're getting nice and close to the post, and I think the Firebirds need to work on that.
That's something that the Bombertos really do well. The speed of their passing just allows them a better setup.
Oh, they work beautifully together. It's very hard to play them.
Clark. Precious turnover for the Firebirds. They need to look after this one. Mackenzie. So Thunderbirds' defence is really something, but a long ball cleared to Nurse helps them. Deva. Shoot over ready. And there's one against Mandy Edwards off the ball, so Jawaki from point blank. Five minutes gone, and Thunderbirds 5-4, but possession with the Firebirds. Deva. Oops. Oh. It's slightly clumsy stuff. Yeah. Off knees. And almost inevitably that one rimmed out. Bianca Reddy almost feel like they didn't deserve that goal, the Firebirds. They made such a meal of it.
Yeah, a few fumbles in there.
Edwards. Heinrich out. Mackenzie hustling back, but it's with Medhurst. Mackenzie, the tallest player in that circle. But that height issue has never worried Heinrich and Medhurst.
No, never. Certainly can shoot over anything, those girls.
Clark nearly robbed Romberto of that one.
You've got to really give it to the Firebirds at the moment. They're really busting to get it to the front ball and working really hard to do that, so it's nice to see.
Oh, Mackenzie.
And picking up some intercepts at the same time.
And it's tumbled though to the Thunderbirds. They've got to look after what turnovers they can get, because there may not be many. Medhurst across the circle. Back to Heinrich through Nat Bomberto. A touch from Mackenzie. And one against Tromp, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
7 penalties to 2 against the Firebirds. And 3 against Clark in the middle. Nurse. Deva. Jawaki, nice breakaway from Reddy. And short on the shot. Who's got it? No doubt about that one, Scholes.
Exactly. I was going to say Pete's got to have that one.
Edwards. Trump under Clark and Deva. Nice fluid movement down the court from the Firebirds. They just need to be sure here. Jawaki. Thunderbirds by 2, almost halfway through the first quarter. Being played at good pace, and I think the Firebirds are running okay in terms of the pace.
I think so too. I was actually just about to say that they're actually having the pace through the mid-court, but slowing it up and looking for the long ball, which is really nice to see. So they're not really honing in on the short ball. They're throwing it around, but looking for long as well. So the Thunderbirds are going to have to pick that one up. I think they're throwing a few in.
Deva, nice use of the bounce pass. Across the Nurse, and Deva is quick. Her pace, a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, definitely. Good to see her back. Great to see her back.
Thunderbird centre pass through Nat Vomberto. Edwards for Laura. Medhurst, too big for Heinrich. I think the commitment, if not aggression, of the Thunderbirds is just asking a few questions of the Thunderbirds at the moment. Deva, Jawaki, across to Nurse, who can find a position. Deva can. And she finds the goal as well.
I think they're doing everything we recommended, aren't they, Steve?
And then some. Would you be saying anything to Reddy and to Edwards about how to match up on these two?
Well, look, I think they're actually letting Deva and Carla actually have the front ball a lot, and they're really not working their feet fast enough along the baseline there. So I think Fiona and Bianca really need to work on, having the front position, because I think the girls are getting the front position far too much on them.
8 apiece. 6 to go in the first. Setting up nicely this match. Nat Vomberto just almost rolls one, because she can't do that. It bounced into Heinrich. Almost, I said. Almost. Well, that was a little bit careless from Peter Stevens, but probably needed more support. Another offer.
Yeah.
That's intimidation, Peter. You need to clear. Sort of pass back where you were. Yes.
Medhurst. And Stevens out for obstruction. Thunderbirds by 1. 5:20 left in the first. Clark, Nurse. And Clark can run this one down. Fortunately, there was no Thunderbirds player behind her. Ooh.
They started to play a split circle then, so it was actually quite interesting, Bianca and Fiona then, and it worked quite well against them. So I'm sure they'll be trying that one again. Oh, Mandy. I'll be in trouble for that.
No, you won't. You're right. Medhurst, out it comes, and Stevens. So Margango just a little bit concerned, up by just the 1 after 4:40, but sometimes the lower ranked teams can cause problems. It's whether they can do it for 60 minutes. And of course the Firebirds are very confident, and it's a noisy crowd here at Chandler as they get back to 9-all. Vicky Wilson.
Interesting timeout, Steve.
They often are these days, Alison. They often are. It's Laura Vomberto asking for a bit of attention, and Margango would be silly not to make use of the opportunity to come out and say something. But they are fired up, the Firebirds. I like the way they've played the first 10 3/4 minutes here. They mean to build on what they did last week. Let's have a look at some of the defensive work.
Just see how Bianca's actually coming off there and really working hard at trying. She's probably letting them have the front ball, but really see how they're blocking up the space there and, get the ball, and beautiful.
So Kristen Heinrich having a chat with Margango. Well, she's not actually doing the chatting, Marg is.
There's not much chatting from Chris there.
No. And some attention to a troubled right wrist.
Looks fairly heavily strapped, that one as well.
Yeah. The teams look set, and out come the Smiling Queenslanders at 9 apiece. Vicky Wilson will be pleased with the effort. Thunderbirds looking to be first to double figures. One against Deva. Heinrich. Medhurst. Peter Stevens to the floor. That just left them slightly short of numbers in defence for a couple of seconds, and that's all the T-Birds needed. Deva. Nurse. Jawaki. Oh, misread it. Misread it, Nurse.
Not by Bianca, though.
No, well, Jawaki rolled. Nurse passed. Reddy was there.
You can see the T-Birds here having a lot of patience getting through the mid-court, and I'm sure Marg would have mentioned that at that break then. A lot more patience there.
Medhurst for a 2-goal lead. With the centre pass, they're looking for a lead of 3. That would have been, I think, the minimum in the back of their minds at the start of the match. Tromp off to Stevens, who's got it. Heinrich, of course, couldn't go into that quarter. She was keen to. Oh, risky. Risky again. Take the risk was Vicky Wilson's...
advice at that race, I think so.
Well, and last week when they were chasing the Kestrels and ran them down in that last quarter. Nurse. No. And again, look, that one time was never on because Reddy had Jawaki covered.
I think she just, Lauren just tried to rush it then and really wasn't waiting for the move to be made. And Carla certainly wasn't ready to go that way.
Laura Romberto's open. They've really run the...
That was a really good switch by the girls in the fight then. They swapped really well then.
Yeah, they ran them ragged down court, but then they got set quite quickly. Firebirds. Medhurst. 6 from 8. The Melza fellows. Along with Mutton, Poynton and Martin. Matt Bomberto to Medhurst again. Off to Heinrich on the baseline.
They've got a great combination, those girls, and they're just proving right now the steadiness that they have and the confidence in each other.
Deva. Down by 3, the Firebirds. Inside the last 90 seconds, or maybe it would have been a touch there from Laura Bomberto. Drew the error.
Yeah, it certainly was, and lots of pressure from the T-Birds then.
Scholes. Laura to Nat Bomberto. On to Heinrich, top of the circle. It barely touched her hands. And here they are at their best. They almost got in each other's way, but Medhurst. That's too good. That is too good. That's the Thunderbirds at their best. Although Marg not willing to smile just yet.
No, wait till the end of the game.
And Kira Tromp was being told that's causing, and you're late, and into the circle it comes. Heinrich busy. she puts on so many moves. She's a very enthusiastic goaler. Gives the feeders plenty of chances.
That's why she's so hard to play against.
Yeah. And she gets a lot of her own rebounds when she misses.
Yeah. That's unusual for Chris. She's actually missed all 5 goals now this quarter, so I'm sure Mark will be chatting to her at quarter time.
22 attempts to 13. It could be a lot worse than 5 down for the Firebirds. They need a quick goal here. And another penalty advance, this time at the other end, and Jawaki. Well, they know that there's only 8 seconds left. They do. They'll get the shot away.
Nice ball.
Nice one to get in the shadows of quarter time. Medhurst won't get a chance to find Kristen Heinrich in the circle. So an entertaining first quarter. The Thunderbirds took quite a while to wear down the Firebirds. A little timeout seemed to help them. They lead it by 4 at quarter time. It's 15-11 at Chandler. So Nat Bomberto, one member of this speedy mid-court that we often talk about, and she combines so well with Natalie, they're probably worth more than the sum of their parts. But tell us a bit about Laura's game. Natalie, I should say.
With Natalie, Natalie's actually obviously an Australian team member, and she's certainly very accurate with the passing and puts a lovely ball into the shooters. And I know the shooters love to get a ball from Nat because it's very accurate, and she's always trying and giving 100%. It's fantastic to watch.
Slightly taller than her sister, but they're both about the same speed.
Yeah, certainly the same speed. A lot of speed there, a lot of accuracy, and she's certainly and she works well on defence as well.
And they look a little happier now than they did, say, halfway through that first quarter when they couldn't shake off the Firebirds. I think it was 8-9 all at one stage, and then 15-11. As Joe Morgan having a word to the goal as Deva and Jawaki. Well, she can bring some experience to bear and offer something.
I think the combination between Belinda and Carla is working quite nicely. And I noticed that Bianca and Mandy had to change their what they were doing there, so it's fantastic to see that.
See if we can hear Vicky Wilson. A little bit difficult with the noise in the stadium to hear Vicky, but I think the 79% shooting for the Firebirds is really keeping them in there. So Thunderbirds have let go a few opportunities, 22 shots to 14. So let's have a look at some of the stats out of the first quarter.
Yeah, look, the Firebirds have 18 penalties to 4 for the T-Birds, so, you know, that's something that they've really got to work on. I'm sure Vic's actually mentioning that now because they can't afford to do that, especially against that attacking line. And I'll probably, yeah, you're looking at it is up the back end with Stevens and McKenzie. They've got eight up there, and it's a telling sign.
5 intercepts for the Firebirds is useful, and the goal shooting percentage is keeping them in it. Well, let's hear a bit more from what's been happening over at the Thunderbirds and Sam Dennis.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, obviously a little bit of concern from Marg. The main thing she really wants them to concentrate is just to play their own game. A few balls are going astray in the attack end, which is highly unlike the Thunderbirds. So if they can just stick to what they know, it will gradually wear them away, and they'll be all right.
Thanks, Sam. 4 penalties to 18. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is a big factor in this game.
Oh, I don't think I've seen a quarter-time penalty stat like that, perhaps ever, in a Commonwealth Bank Trophy game.
Well, they've each got one. All the Firebirds have got one. They're contributing. I don't think that's a good thing.
And the rebounds 4-2 favouring the Thunderbirds. At a few at the attack end. Medhurst has taken 3.
Yeah, there's been more opportunities for the Firebirds to get rebounds in this game, so it'll be interesting to see.
Underway in the second quarter, and the Firebirds trailing by 4. Oh, Schultz, good try.
Got a hand at the peak. She's never afraid to have a go at those ones.
Fearless.
Yes, very much so.
Deva, huge attempt. Whose hands that off? Oh, Mandy Edwards. They're tough ones for umpires. That's one of the times I've actually got sympathy for them. I mean, 2 hands reach out. Good luck telling whose finger it touched last. You've got to make a call, though.
It's always the attacker.
You think?
No.
Jawaki, spoken like a true goal defence, wing defence. Heinrich. Medhurst. They sometimes play so quickly you don't have a chance to even spit out the names. But here's a turnover. What they didn't do in the first quarter was make the most of them, but they might this time. Jawaki, yes indeed. The Firebirds score the first 2 of the second quarter. Clark. Nurse. Jawaki, ready, just pulled out of the possible challenge there. And Edwards has got to back away. Deva with a shot.
Well, unlucky. I think Mandy had a good arm over that, so.
That's a defender talking again.
No, it's not, Steve.
Deva, 6 from 8, and Jawaki 8 from 10. There it's 78% to the T-Birds 68. The match ball went for a wander, and it's still avoiding us. Yes, throw it to the middle. That's the way. Thunderbirds only by 1. Contact against Medhurst.
The Firebirds were really working hard then on blocking it up, and Nat had to push her way through there. So definitely a good call by the ump then, I think.
Jawoki needs something. Clark provides. Ouch.
Yeah, it was good hands over.
Edwards to Matt Bomberto to Medhurst. Heinrich, there are 2 on her. But Medhurst is there.
Where did she come from?
Well, she came into the circle and wasn't allowed. That was Karen Clark. Nice try. She was a little unwell midweek, but has obviously recovered fully. She's having a great game. Thunderbirds by 2. 3 minutes almost gone in the second quarter. Clark. Jawoki. Well read. Oh, just short. And unfortunately, Edwards just backed in, did she?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a call over there.
So Mandy Edwards with 4 penalties out of the Thunderbirds 8. You see, they've given up 4 penalties in the first 3.5 minutes here, and only 4 in the whole of the first quarter. And that's when coaches start going, what's going on here?
Different end of the court, Steve.
Different end of the court, exactly.
And you need to, well done, Pete. You need to actually work to the umpire. I mean, they're all different, and they've got, you know, all different ways of umpiring, so they need to adjust to that. And I think that's what the T-Birds will probably do a little bit faster than what the Firebirds did last quarter.
Oh, Nurse couldn't possibly keep that in. That's a shame. Again, they've thrown away a precious turnover, but they only trail it by 1. 4 gone in the second quarter. Medhurst. Laura Bomberto back to Medhurst. A better ball around the circle.
Yeah, they're a little bit hesitant to put the ball up tonight. I'm a little bit surprised.
Clark. Player down. It's Medhurst. She's all right. Throwing to the Thunderbirds. So good pressure from Schultz producing that mistake. Time stopped for a moment while the ball's retrieved. Bianca ready. His brother Liam has been in the news this week with some dispute about what soccer club he'll end up with. And so many sporting members of that family. There's one in the paper usually.
I'm sure Mum and Dad are proud.
Yeah. Nurse to the top of the circle. Edwards quite slow to back away from Deva.
Yeah, she's certainly not pulling out fast enough, I think. And I think that's what she's getting pulled up for up there.
New turnaround in the penalties. It's 7-3 against the Thunderbirds in this quarter. And it was 18-4 against the Firebirds in the first. That just knocks me over. I don't think I've seen such a dramatic turnaround in the way the game is being umpired at different ends. Surely, unless the Firebirds have, managed to adjust that quickly.
I don't think it's a matter of the teams adjusting up here. I think it's more the umpires, just different styles, and Mandy and Bianca need to adjust to what the umpire's calling. Bianca's really working hard. Sorry, blocking off the baseline, and she's doing an excellent job at it. The girls are really trying really hard to keep that out of the baseline there.
10 from 12 for Jawoki at 83%. Heinrich is 11 from 17. Medhurst 8 from 10, so they're gradually lifting it from the mid-60s up to 70 now. Nurse. Oh, yes, it was worth the wait. I thought Nurse spurned 2 opportunities there to pass, waited, and a good one presented again.
I'm sure Vicky was talking to her at quarter time about that, because she threw a couple of balls away in the first quarter, and it'll be interesting to see what words were said. But that was well done by Lauren.
Lauren Nurse has had 8 turnovers.
Yeah.
But let's not be too harsh on her. She's playing against the top team in the league, and in the middle is where you're most going to feel it. This is one heck of a midcourt that the Thunderbirds have. Out it comes.
Short pass, Mandy came down with it.
Yeah. Well, Obviously a short pass. There must be room for another player. And obviously there wasn't, but they didn't mean to pass it to each other.
No, I think Mandy came down with it and probably didn't have full control of it, and then Bianca kind of got it there at the same time. It's a tough call, but it's one that happens sometimes.
19 apiece. So the Firebirds are winning this quarter by 4. Get rid of it. Nearly a held ball.
Quick, quick.
And Jawaki is absolutely at the post. Has to step out of her own way. And they've hit the front, the Firebirds.
It's very noisy in here, Steve.
Have you noticed?
Have you noticed? I feel like I'm yelling.
Well, it's worth a few goals, I think, this Chandler crowd. They're very passionate behind a team that didn't give them a lot back in terms of results last year. In fact, not a win. But that wasn't to say they weren't trying.
Great pressure then from my cousin.
Nat Bomberto had the penalty against her advance. She didn't look at the umpire. Jawaki, a long way out, and how's her confidence? Well, she can come in a bit closer now. Reddy put a hand on the ball. Jawaki short. Oh, no. Oh, Deva says, I'll have it. Jawaki on the baseline.
Total pass. Come in. Come in. Come in. Yes.
The one thing I've noticed here tonight, Steve, is none of the girls are actually going up with 2 hands trying to get those rebounds. I think they're just reflexing, and they've got to go up nice and strongly for those and pull them in because they're vital for them. You know, the Firebirds are shooting so well.
Oh, here's a shot. Timeout called by the Thunderbirds. And, well, the crowd is onto it. I mean, why do we pretend it's anything else? I know that Laura's got a problem with the right hand, but I also know that teams do this, and you would know it as well.
It's true. We don't do what the Swifts. We should know that.
Okay, let me draw your attention again, folks, to the penalty situation, because I've got a bee in my bonnet here. Firebirds had the penalty count against them 18-4 in the first quarter. They've only given up 4 penalties in the next 8 minutes, and 14 penalties against the Thunderbirds. The penalty count is now 22-18 after it was 18-4 at quarter time. Mandy Edwards.
She's just not coming off quick enough, I don't think, there, but she's getting a good arm over, certainly.
Well, I think Demelza Fellows will be going, I might get a start here shortly.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well.
But Edwards and Reddy. See, Reddy has only given up 1 penalty out of the team's 18. 6 in the middle from Matt Bomberto.
Reddy's actually playing a game that's off the body, though, more so than Mandy. Mandy is actually playing more on the body, whereas Bianca's floating a little bit more, and probably maybe with Carla shooting so well, she needs to change that.
Jawaki. Firebirds playing with some confidence. Oh, said that too early, didn't I?
You did. You jinxed them, Steve.
It's called the commentator's curse. You'll get your turn later in the match, Alison.
Is that right? I'm not going to say anything.
Edwards. Scholes. Medhurst. Oh, nice move along the baseline from Heinrich.
You notice then Nat actually faked to the other side and then waited for Kristen to be free, and it was a perfect move. Fooled everybody except her own players.
Heinrich very quick over the first 2 or 3 metres. Firebirds were just looking to slow down the next centre pass there. There was that little duel between Heinrich and Mackenzie for the ball. Thunderbirds get 2 in a row. Ooh. Late from Nat Bomberto. Nikki Boyd sets the penalty. Clark. Oh, rocket hip pass to Deva.
I would actually say now that I think Vicky's been working on the centre court feeding into the shooters for the Firebirds, because they've been pretty spot on at the moment.
Oh, well done. There's your cousin, Trump. Yeah. She's your cousin when she plays well, is that it?
No, she's always my cousin, but yeah. But I'll mention it even more when she's playing well.
Stevens. Nurse. Deva took the long way around to get to the circle, but it's with Jawaki, and a 2-goal lead. Get out. 5 to go till half-time, and the Firebirds are making something of this.
Yeah, I think Marg will be thinking some changes in this defence end. Just purely the girls are shooting so well and combining so well together just like that. So
It was a very interesting ball from Jawaki. She almost changed her mind as she released it. It was just a floating short pass to Deva.
Oh, we practice those at training.
Yeah.
You know.
80% shooting for the Firebirds, 72 for the Thunderbirds. They've lifted, but they're just not getting enough down this end. .425 left till half-time. Nurse. Oops. Deva runs it down. Stevens is there. Doesn't use her. Clark. Jawaki front. But, pressure from behind. Reduce the turnover. Medhurst.
I think Mandy's actually very good at getting up and using her strength to get those balls. So it was interesting to see that Bianca came off then and let her have a go at that.
Edwards and Reddy slightly taller overall than Jawaki and Deva. Back come the Thunderbirds, looking for the leveller here. They've scored the last two. 3 in a row will do it for them, to 24 all.
I have to say, I think the Thunderbirds look a little bit rattled at the moment.
Held ball, bears that out. And now Nat Bomberto may get spoken to. She held the ball and then she didn't give it up, and that's the second time she's had a penalty against her advance. So Nat probably just needs to watch that she doesn't upset Louise McMeeking any further. And Nat Bomberto with 9 penalties, she's given up the most of any player on court, even the defenders.
That's amazing, actually. I don't think it's usually the defence end or the attackers that get those penalties, but not a centre court player.
I don't know whether Karen Clark's managing to upset her, as she nearly did there. And
something must be happening there. So it'd be interesting. Well, how many did she have in the first quarter? I don't know. Come on, Steve. You've got your stat man.
Well, they only had 4.
They only had 4 all over, didn't they?
They had 4 all over, yeah. So it wasn't many. It was no more than 4. And she's had 9 now.
Yeah.
So, you know,
she's certainly got to back out of some of the things, obviously.
And Rick. Scholes.
If you look here, the Firebirds are actually playing a zone defence in some way, shape or form, but they're actually working really hard at and blocking up the space and not playing man-on-man so much. So maybe that's rattling the Thunderbirds a little bit. I don't know what it is.
No, it's Firebirds by 1. All the information around the league and results and stories can be found on our website, abc.net.au/netball. You can pick up your information there. Heinrich, short, who's there? The Firebirds are. Well done, Peter Stevens. Good juggling skills and balance.
Yeah, nice rebound.
Tromp. Good play, that Tromp. Clark. Nurse. Oh, Scholes just a little bit late.
It was worth a go.
It was. And she, no. Well, that wasn't an advancing. That was where it was.
Yeah, apparently so.
Jawaki for a 2-goal lead. They got it back. Oh, the Firebirds are giving their fans some value here.
They certainly are.
Nurse. 90 seconds left in the second quarter. Just be steady here. Don't give away any cheap goals. That's short, is it? Oh, and Deva's got the rebound. And had to get 2 feet back on court quickly. Short again, and Reddy has that for breakfast.
It was good arms over by Bianca then.
Vicky Wilson's got to be very proud of his second quarter effort, but it's a 60-minute game. They've got to keep it going. Bomberto. Oh, Mackenzie so nearly there.
She was so nearly there, but I have to agree with the ump on this one.
Medhurst. It was a bit like the Schultz one at the other end.
Yeah.
A bit of push and shove there. The decision goes the way of the Thunderbirds. Oh, Laura Roberto forced into an amazing turnover for the Thunderbirds. Tromp. 3-second call.
Good defence by the T-Birds then.
Medhurst want to be last to score here in the second quarter. 12 seconds left. And the Firebirds have won this quarter by at least 5.
Keep it contact.
And this will be the last action. She gets to take this regardless of the clock. There we go. And they've narrowed it to 1, but a tremendous second quarter by the Firebirds. 4 down at quarter time, up by 1 at half time. At Chandler, we've got a game on our hands, folks. The Firebirds over the Thunderbirds, 26-25.
ABC2 Dig TV, presented by myself, Tracy Hutchison and James Rain.
You know, I can still remember that, like it's yesterday. It's so vivid for me.
I think they're going to let me commentate again. Maybe it's me, but yeah, it certainly is, and the crowd are getting right behind it. It's great to see a game at this standard, and yeah, it's excellent.
Well, I think the Firebirds are proving that last week's win over the Kestrels was no fluke, nor the fact that they were leading Phoenix in round 1 at half-time. Let's have a look at some stats out of the first half. And the penalties have, well, it's a remarkable turnaround. The second quarter penalties were 20-13 against the Thunderbirds. The shooting percentages has levelled out a little bit.
Levelled out a little bit, but I think you've hit the nail on the head on that one, because the penalties are just certainly a big factor in this game, and a telling factor at that, because the Thunderbirds had 4 in the first quarter and they've got 20 in the second. What happened in that?
Well, let's see if we can hear Vicky having a chat to her players. Well, she's pointing out that they won that second quarter 15-10, and they'll take the court for the third very confident, and rocked, I think, somewhat will be the Thunderbirds by the game situation.
I think there's some changes in the T-Birds line as well.
Bianca Reddy has had the patch taken off her back. Fiona Poynton looks like she's going to be on at goal defence.
And Demel's has come on at keeper.
And Vicky Wilson is fair enough talking to the umpire, so what's going on here? I mean, they got the better of it in the second quarter, but 18-4 against in the first, 20-13 against the T-Birds in the second. And that, well, we'll stop banging on about that for the moment, because we're about to start the third quarter. But Fellows is on at goalkeeper and Poynton at goal defence, so they've totally changed the defensive lineup.
And Law's gone into the middle, actually, with Nat on the wing. So they've changed the mid-court.
So Fellows at goalkeeper. We'll expand on that in a moment. So Fellows marking up on Dewaki. Now you can say Fiona, you see, because she's on. Ready.
I'm going to get my wrist slap for that one.
Here we go with the third quarter, and the Thunderbirds with a bit to do to try and shake off this stubborn Firebirds. You'd still expect that the Thunderbirds would prevail here, but what a match we've got. Medhurst. And they get that close-in shooting position to help them with their first attempt. And on come Fellows and Poynton at goalkeeper and goal defence respectively, replacing Reddy and Edwards. And the Bomberto sisters have swapped. Obviously, Nat Bomberto was attracting a fair bit of whistle at centre. And Fellows does a good job.
She does a great job there, getting her hand to that and then tipping it down to her own player.
Well, the Mels had just about swung the match last week, as Phoenix were up by 3 at three-quarter time. I'll just check my notes here. They were 46-43, and Thunderbirds came on a 1 at 61-56, and Fellows really gave Sinna Kidd and Sherelle McMahon a bit of a workout. And the Thunderbirds have immediately hit the front. They've scored the first 2 of the third quarter, and there's Heinrich alone at the post.
A lovely ball by Nat.
Clark, Stevens. The trouble with half-time is that you get to think about the game a bit. And when you're in the Firebirds' position of surprisingly leading, maybe they would have preferred to just keep playing.
I think so. They had the run of the game then, and yeah, I think the T-Birds have come out now really wanting to keep a steady pace and make sure that they're got the ball a lot of the time. They certainly seemed very rattled in that second quarter, so hopefully they can control a little bit more in this one.
Nat Bomberto. Finds Heinrich.
Contact defender.
Contact against Stevens on the ball, says Nicky Boyd. Laura von Berto at centre to Medhurst. Penalty starting to run against the Firebirds, but the Thunderbirds have had all the possession.
It's just seemed a little bit calmer right now, so hopefully I haven't seen Nat and Laws play this way for a long time, so let's see how they go.
Clark has gone to the floor and might be in some trouble. Karen Clark. Thunderbirds have scored 6 unanswered goals, the last of the second quarter and the first 5 of the third, and suddenly they're out by 4. And Clark, an absolutely pivotal player for the Firebirds.
She's certainly been having a strong game tonight. Very strong. Looks like a thigh.
Yeah.
Something to do there.
Clark has had knee problems in the past. She hurt a knee in New Zealand. Couldn't really. There was a clash with Medhurst, and straight away she knew she was in trouble. Yeah, she's had a knee reconstruction after a disastrous attempt to play in the New Zealand National League. Well, I think it was in game 1 over there
really?
with the Canterbury Flames, I think. And anyway,
my money's on a bit of a strained muscle.
You know all about knees.
I don't think they'd be strapping it like that. I don't think she's coming off, so.
See what happened to the right knee here. There she is. And she's just run into...
Maybe she got a cork, actually.
Yeah, it might just be a cork. You're right. She could have run into the knee of Medhurst.
Yeah. More likely that scenario, I think.
John Fitzgerald, the physio.
Yeah, certainly her thigh strapped, so it's definitely not a knee. Well, that's a good sign.
It certainly is. Stevens to Clark. Oh, ouch. Well, it's quite a while since Devers had the ball, and so the hands are a bit cold. This is a dangerous time for the Firebirds, having played so well for 2 quarters. It's slipping away quickly, or is it Stevens?
They need to keep hold of their possessions, every single one they get, so...
And Medhurst a bit late on the Tromp challenge. Dever. Jawaki. And they haven't had a shot this quarter.
Great pressure from the T-Birds then. The Melza had great hands over the ball then.
Poynton and Fellows doing a great job at the moment for the T-Birds. Quick hands from Nat Bomberto to Medhurst. Sorry, Heinrich.
You've got high disease tonight.
Yeah. Heinrich up to 71%. The T-Birds mid-60s shooting percentage early in the match, up to 76 now.
Yeah, they certainly picked that up.
Heinrich for Peter Stevens, trying to guard 2 goalers. You hate that, don't you?
Yeah. It's a difficult job.
And away.
Medhurst. 8 in a row for the Thunderbirds. A 32-26 lead, their biggest lead of the match.
I think at this case, the Firebirds have to really think about who's doing the shooting for the T-Birds, and I think Nat's been doing a great take by Pete then, but Nat's been doing a lot of the shooting this quarter and seems a little bit more steady than Kristen, and seems Kristen's passing the ball off a little bit, so they might be thinking about that one.
4.5 minutes gone, and the Firebirds have not scored in this third quarter. Mackenzie. Penalty against Heinrich. Nurse.
The Firebirds have to remember here that, you know, they have been even the whole game and 2 goals up at half-time and things like that, but they need to keep strong heads and, you know, really think about it and keep playing their attacking game. You don't want them to fall into playing defensive and trying to protect the lead that they once had. They don't have it now, obviously, but and not get hesitant in their passing. That's the one danger when you're up against teams like the Thunderbirds, because they'll just take advantage of that.
Jawaki gets the Firebirds on the board in the third quarter. That centre pass was taken so quickly. Joachim endeavour in the 70s. Heinrich, short, really short.
I think she got a knockdown in the...
That's right, she did, and there was no... I mean, I think that was a reasonable no call initially because when she just had the ball back.
Well, the umpire gave, like I mean, she said 3 seconds to go again. She didn't have to rush a shot, sort of might have rattled her a little bit.
If that was a contact, it was an obstruction, or she could have just advanced it. The ball was knocked out of her hand, is what we're saying, isn't it?
Yeah. It looked to be that.
Or should have been contact on the ball, come in a couple of feet.
Yeah.
But Heinrich, you know, unquestioningly just went for the shot and it was short. 32-28, the Thunderbirds.
The T-Birds are certainly defending really well, nice and strong in there and blocking the pass. So it's very difficult for the Firebirds to get a clear pass into that circle. And Fiona and Demelza are working really well together. And
Peter Schultz there just saying to Louise McMeekin, come on, that was so late. She's appealing there. I think there's a little bit of lack of control out there. We've seen a strange game in terms of the way the penalties are being given and interpreted. And I think the players are sensing a little bit frustrated, perhaps with a different interpretation.
I think Pete's very frustrated by the look on the hands and the hips, but yeah, I think it is. And it is hard for when you're playing to really, you try and work to what the umpire's calling, and you know they're going to call some different things and all that kind of stuff, but when it's consistently not there and you don't know what they're calling or which way it's going to go, it's hard for us to play.
Go shooter, hold.
And a hold against Heinrich.
That's a different call. I haven't seen that one tonight.
Well off the ball, and Heinrich with 3 penalties, 11 against Nat Bomberto, the only player in double figures, 9 each against Clark and Tromp for the Firebirds.
I think Nat will look at this game and go, where did those penalties come from, I think, at the end of this? 9 hands for Melbourne.
What's the difference with Poynton and Fellows out there?
Look, I just think they're having a bit more of a go. They've got strong hands up. They're not letting the attackers have the space. Like Carla and Belinda, I think, in the first half had a lot more room to move. Here, you can see that they're just working overtime, Demelza and Fiona, at holding the players out, making it difficult for them to get to the post. All sorts of those things to really block up the play, and they're doing a great job at it.
Halfway through the 3rd quarter, the Firebirds have only added 3, but they're only 4 behind. I just think that sometimes the Firebirds do well to go backwards, to go forward. They're very reluctant to give up territory. Scholz.
I'm guessing that Marg mentioned hands over would be a factor in this quarter. Well, the T-Birds have certainly got hands over everything.
Medhurst. Laura Bomberto. Heinrich.
They've got to get a player through there, so it's what the umpire sees, I guess. It's hard to tell from this angle what actually happened then, but I think, you know, whether the player could get through or not.
There's another advanced penalty. Now, I've noticed this season that the umpires are tougher on that. I've got no problem with that, but Heinrich's just looking around, surprised. But, you know, if you continue to deliberately offend, that's going to be the result.
Yeah. And that's the thing you've got to really work out in the first quarter when you're playing, is what the umpires are calling, what they're really touchy on and things like that. Whereas I think in this game it's been really difficult to tell. I haven't been able to tell the sort of what the umpires are calling. They're calling all different things, so I think the girls are frustrated with that.
Penalties now fairly even, 39-37, so perhaps the teams have adjusted?
Yeah, let's hope so.
Nurse. Deva anchors that right foot. That's a long range shot, and it's perfect. Thunderbirds by 3. Firebirds giving a tremendous account of themselves at home against the competition leaders. Into the circle. So pass or shot from Medhurst. Oof. A heel flapper, as they call it. But she's going to have a go at it, and it's off. And Medhurst contact on Mackenzie, who was trying to get the rebound.
It's interesting, Steve, here, for instance, you were talking about the Thunderbirds scoring over 60 goals per match, and they're only up to 34 goals now, and they're 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. It's certainly one of those things that the defenders in the Firebirds have obviously been working hard on.
That's a good point, Al. You know, they mentioned at the start of the match, Thunderbirds have scored 68, 63 and 61 in the first 3 rounds. here we are, 5 out from 3/4 time. They've only got themselves to 34. Fingers take a bit of punishment in this sport, and Peter Stevens was looking for a clean take, got a bit of interference from Nat Medhurst, and ouch. How many fingers have you dislocated?
Oh, I've broken one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my wedding finger, and that hurt.
Yeah.
Kept playing, though.
Is that before or after you got married?
I've got 9 others. Oh, yeah, after I got married. Didn't have to wear my wedding ring.
Oh, that'll get back. That will get back. Firebirds on with the job, trailing by 3. 5 left in the third. Oh, that was
good pressure by the girls then.
Yeah, if it wasn't a hell ball, it was a turnover, and it was. Scholes read it so well. Poynton onto Scholes. Decent centre third defence from the Firebirds.
Yeah, they're certainly holding it up. Very much
Scholes.
so, and they're struggling to get it through. Nice pass, Pete.
Laura Bomberto to Medhurst. Stevens and McKenzie back on Heinrich. She establishes a position on the baseline. Well done, Heinrich.
Look at the change in speed, though. They were very patient through the middle. They threw the ball over. It went to the other side, and it just was hammered in there. I like that. It's very good.
Deva, Nurse, Jawaki will try to shoot over Fellows. Contact against Deva on Poynton. So the Thunderbirds can come away again looking for a 5-goal lead here, with 4 to go in the third. Now we're out by 6, remember. Medhurst off to Heinrich. They're starting to look a bit more confident.
Yeah, certainly passing the ball more freely up there.
Centre pass with the Thunderbirds. Under 4 to go in the third. Nat Bomberto to Nat Medhurst. She just checked to see where Heinrich was. Doesn't need it with a shot like that. And Medhurst is on 81%. Heinrich 71. Nurse waits for a roll from Jawaki, and
Good attempt from Demelza there. She had to have a go at that. She was out there.
Fellows.
She's certainly making a big difference in this quarter.
Deva. Big attempt, and it's good again. And they've still got Jo Morgan up their sleeve, but I don't know that they need her just at the moment, unless they want to change their style. Obviously, she's a type of player you throw the high ball into, but Fellows has got good height as well.
Yeah, I'll be reluctant, but it's up to Vic, I guess. So, yeah, because Carla and Belinda are actually combining quite well together and shooting quite accurately. So I'll see what Vic does at 3/4 time.
Another one for Medhurst, and Wilson will be disappointed. A 1-goal lead at half-time has turned into a 6-goal deficit. Jawaki really trying to maintain front position, Fellows. Jawaki.
Demelza's not letting her out of the sight, and that's the one thing in this quarter that's made a difference, I think. Carla certainly hasn't had a lot of free space there.
Angove. Fellows, for a fringe Australian player, be looking to get back in the team if she could this year, with a couple of notable retirements from international netball, Alison Broadbent included.
Once they started calling me veteran, Steve, I had to go.
McKenzie pulls one in. Oh, you did marvellous service with the Australian team. Stevens to Trump. Nurse to Jawaki. Important goal, this one. If you look at the turnover stat, Alison, 21 against the Firebirds and 18 against the Thunderbirds. All they got to do is just keep those turnovers down, and they could still cause an upset here.
Oh, look, it's anyone's game still. It's a minute 30 to go and 5 goals down. I think we've done that in the grand final before. Come back from that far down. Anything's possible.
Nurse. Oh. Contact against Scholes. Just tends to stick a finger or a hand out at the most unexpected moments.
Ah, Pete never.
I think so. Deva. Oh. Deva sucked Fellows in there. Last minute, 3rd quarter. 5 the lead for the Thunderbirds. Firebirds looking for a A last-minute turnover here. And there it is, Trump. Stevens, Clark. They just need to be patient here. Deva, lovely ball at the top of the circle for Nurse. Oh, stepping against Nurse. Well called, Allison. You saw that early. And,
that should be an ump.
Yeah.
I don't think the umpires would like that though.
Laura von Berto.
I've got to remember I've got to play on Sunday.
And 6 the lead again. Firebirds got 10 seconds to get it down there, and they'll be mindful of that. Well, Thunderbirds force another one. Fellows. And they won't get a chance to add one more, but boy, they've added a few. They've won this quarter by 7 because they're out by 6 now, having trailed by 1 at halftime. And the Thunderbirds back where they probably feel they should be, and where the favourites should be in a match like this, up by 6, 40-34 at Chandler. And Carla Jawaki shooting 19 from 25 at 76%. Had a solid match. Will she see it out? Will they put Joe Morgan on? What do you think of her performance through the first 3 quarters?
With Carla, I think she's actually performed quite well. She had a lot of space to move in the first half, and then in this third quarter, I think she's been closed up a little bit by Demelza, but certainly shooting very well and moving very nicely and combining well with Belinda.
Jawaki's just given up the 1 penalty. Hasn't taken a rebound. Deva's got a couple. 3 rebounds for Medhurst. And we're looking at the attacking players. But Jawaki actually replaced Reddy and Edwards. So that's some kind of tribute, I think, to Jawaki and Deva, that a couple of very good defenders were replaced. But unfortunately for them, Poynton and Fellows are doing a great job. And you mentioned that you know, they're just very strong hands from Poynton and Fellows.
I just think they've been playing a different style of defence this quarter, and it's certainly noticeable that I think the Firebirds are finding it very hard to get around. I think that they've obviously, Marg's told them to work hands over and be very strong in the air and rebound very well. So it's just one of those things that, you know, wasn't happening in the first half.
So just keep it up, keep moving, keep moving. Don't sit on it, come off a bit, all right?
I think the controversy also about penalties has probably gone out of the match a little because the penalties are even. Let's have a look at the stats now at 3/4 time. And penalties 45-44. Where's the drama now?
Yeah,
but
no
there was some early. Turnovers, 4 more against the Firebirds. You mentioned they've got to keep those down. Intercepts pretty even. And 7 more attempts for the Thunderbirds. And goal shooting percentage is almost identical. Sam, what have you been seeing down there?
Thanks, Steve. Well, it hasn't been flashy netball, it hasn't been pretty netball, but it's definitely been working for the Firebirds. Vicky's just made one major change. Joe Morgan's going to goal shooter, so you never know what's going to happen. It's the last quarter, the Firebirds are definitely still in it. I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on.
Yeah, let's see what impact Joe Morgan can have. Morgan last week shot 28 from 32 when she came on against the Kestrels.
Well, you question it, Steve, and I think you're right. But Morgan coming on.
Look, I don't think Jawaki and Deva were doing much wrong.
No.
They've got to try something. Here we go.
Yeah, certainly do. And Jo is an impact player. She's certainly one of those players you want to bring on, and if she can shoot accurately,
Medhurst.
that would be very hard for the T-Birds to play against.
Heinrich. As the penalties have evened right up. So 18-4 against the Firebirds in the first quarter, 20-13 against the Thunderbirds in the second. And now we're at 45-44. There's nothing
So what are
in
you
it.
talking about?
Well, I'm not talking about anything now, but I'd love to know what's been said and thought between umpires and coaches.
I'm sure both Marg and Vicky would have had a word to them at half-time, because it was affecting both teams, and it certainly was frustrating everybody.
So Joe Morgan is on for Carla Jawaki. Carla out of the game on 19 from 25, 76%. She's shooting 87% for the season, Jawaki, but up against some great defence here.
I think she shouldn't be too disappointed about coming off. I think Jo's there for a reason, and she does come on and play very strongly. It'll be interesting to see how Demelza goes against her.
Turnover outside the circle. Jawaki there with Simone Nalatu on the bench. Poynton. I just think Marg Angover's in this fantastic position of having 4, you know, absolutely top-class defenders to call on. Fellows and Poynton, Edwards and Reddy. You know, you'd love to have just 2 of those, and she's got the 4. And it's always true that quality sides attract the quality players.
Yeah, definitely in this case it's...
Bianca Reddy, you know, when she came out of the AIS, she could have gone to New South Wales or back to South Australia. She came up here for a while, didn't she?
I was going to say, she came up here for a year. And probably had a great first year out, like out of school, maybe. But she's certainly finding her feet in the T-Birds. It's really nice to see the younger girls coming through and really developing their skills.
Jo Morgan disappointed with that short miss. Poynton helps her out by throwing one away for the Thunderbirds. Mackenzie with the throw-in, ready.
The T-Birds really have to make sure that they're keeping hold of their turnovers as well and not making those mistakes.
Stevens onto Deva. Lovely drive from Nurse to the top of the circle. Put Jo Morgan under some pressure, but Fellows did a bit much. They need this one. And from longer range, Jo pops it through.
Maybe she needs to shoot out there all the time.
Yeah. Some goalers have days like that. They get the long ones and not the short ones.
Apparently, Catherine Cox tells me that the closer ones are the hardest ones to get. So I like her to shoot from far out as possible.
Yeah, okay. Medhurst trying to set up Heinrich here, or... Well done, Mackenzie.
That was excellent work by Mel. Very well done. She timed it very nicely on the jump, and yeah, I don't think you could do it much better than that.
Deva. What they need, the Firebirds, is for her to do it more often. And that's against Jo Morgan.
Yeah, she's been pushing off apparently.
And the crowd in Queensland let Nikki Boyd know what they think of that. Thunderbirds by 8. And it's against Peter Stevens. Sometimes I think hard for the players to hear what the umpires are saying in an atmosphere like this, Alison.
It certainly is, but I think once you're on court too, you need to, you're in a bit of a zone. I know it's a bit cliche, but you certainly are concentrating on the game at hand. But when the crowd is as noisy as this one and certainly in confined space, it does make it hard for the umpires to be heard.
Scholes. Top of the circle, and that one's a deliberate against Lauren Nurse. Yeah. Heinrich. It's a very balanced reception of the ball that she has. 1 foot anchored to the floor, outstretched left hand. She's got one of the best one-handed takes in the game.
Yeah,
Heinrich.
Certainly has.
Heinrich again. Contact on the ball. Mackenzie, and one short in the circle. Thunderbirds will punish them. And the lead's out to 11.
Yeah. Certainly pushed out now.
A 7-2 start to the last quarter for the Thunderbirds. They've had a heck of a job trying to wear down the Firebirds.
Yeah, the Thunderbirds are certainly working very hard in defence, and you can just see it by the amount of turnovers that, well, the Queensland team aren't actually getting into that third, and it's very noticeable.
And finally, the Thunderbirds are starting to play the fluent, well-timed attack that we know they're capable of.
That's what we expected.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
Firebirds have given plenty, but it looks like they're running out of steam. There's a turnover though, Trump to Nurse.
She stayed top position then.
Now, Fellows with his long arms is really testing Jo Morgan. Morgan 3 from 5.
I think Clark scored time for her leg.
A cork on the right thigh earlier in the match. Jo Morgan. Vicky Wilson to have a chat with Clark and maybe it's time to make sure that she's all right for next week. Perhaps Vicky Wilson has looked at the score and thought, well, I don't think we can do 11 goals in 9 minutes, but I certainly want Clark to play next week. And looks like Lucas is on. So the Firebirds got a lot to do in not much time. Morgan, not quite.
Yeah.
Amanda Lucas coming on at centre for Karen Clark, who's had a terrific game. Scholes. Matt Bomberto under pressure, and Trump got one to the cheek for a trouble. First possession for Alison Broadbench. It took you a while. Took you a while. Firebirds have got the Jaegers next week away, so that'll be a match that they'll be looking at thinking, gee, we might just sneak the points there in Newcastle.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Jaegers probably haven't had the start they wanted to this season, so but I know they've had a great win last week, and then this week, I don't know, they're playing on Sunday against the Kestrels, so, you know, anything's possible.
Medhurst. Thunderbirds by 12 now. With 8 minutes to go on 49. They still might get to that 60 goals that we were talking about. 9-3. Lead in the last. Nurse. I think the Firebirds midcourt has given a good account of itself, Alison, when you look who they're playing against.
Yeah.
Now, Nurse, Clark and Tromp against the Bombertos and Peter Schultz. Gee, you'd have nightmares about matching up on those three, wouldn't you? But,
for sure. And the one thing I'm impressed about the Firebirds this year is I know they haven't won a lot of games, and they had their first win last week. They have a different confidence about it, air of confidence, and I suppose Vic's probably had a lot to do with that. And it's nice to see the girls enjoying their netball.
If anyone had an air of self-belief about them, it was Vicky Wilson. You see her on the court; she almost had a swagger.
I was always scared of her.
Yeah. Morgan. Four goals in 8 minutes for the Firebirds. Not really enough when you're in chase mode. And Devon on 71%. Morgan just in this last quarter, 4 from 6. And Jawaki earlier, 19 from 25, 76%. Nurse. Lucas. And Morgan. As I'm sure Vicky Wilson will say, we'll be looking at that first half, and in particular that second quarter, and showing it to the players and saying, more of this, please. This is how we're going to play. You've got the ability. Look what you did to this team in that 15-minute spell. As always, with developing sides, it's about doing it for 4 15-minute quarters, something that coaches drill into you, even with the Swifts, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly right. And one of the things at the Swifts, we always concentrate and try and win each quarter. We don't think of too much at the end of the game. We concentrate on winning one quarter at a time. And I'm sure that that's what Vic will be telling the Firebirds girls next week at training.
Medhurst.
I've been impressed with how they've been playing, though. It's nice to see the Queensland girls put up a great fight, I believe, and really have a go.
Mackenzie to take the penalty. Stevens onto Tromp. Deva. Morgan was a good ball from Deva to Morgan. Belinda Deva, of course, used to play with Vicky Wilson, and they were a great combination. And Deva is an excellent feeder.
Yeah, she always worked well with Vic, and it was very hard to play on. I played on Belinda a number of times, and certainly it was a bit imposing for us because Lizzie was up the back against Vic, and I had Belinda, and it was very hard for us to play against them.
Deva working this time with Lucas. Fellows defending the shot. Not much you can do about that, though. No. A very high arc on the shot. 51-41, the T-Birds. Laura Bomberto to Heinrich, and she was out. The fans at Chandler haven't given up.
No, not at all. I think they've had a great night tonight.
Deva. Stevens.
I was about to say, this is when we've got the high ball, exactly. There's going to be my little bit of advice. When the girls, the T-Birds have the high arms up, Demelza is getting the tip to the ball, and the pressure, the pass is not as accurate as with having no hands up. So they're listening to my advice, except a little bit earlier than I said it.
Heinrich managed to get the pass away, but a held ball against a shooter. Gee, I'd like to see that a bit more. I reckon they get away with a bit. That's the first time we've seen a goal.
I've never heard you say that before, Steve. Well, I quite like that.
Yeah, no, they do. They do. I think you know, they're given an extra half a second to get their balance and get set and look pretty, and then they put the shot up. You know, they're holding it for 3.5 seconds every time.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, you see, I would have been a defender. Mackenzie. Tromp. Nurse. Obstruction and intimidation.
I don't know if that was really the case, but who knows?
Out comes the defender anew once more. Lucas through the tired hands, I think, of Belinda Dever.
She's worked overtime tonight.
Firebirds have scored the last 3. Still going to be another little percentage booster for the Thunderbirds. Actually, their percentage is so good, it may not actually boost their percentage, but it's another W. And the win column.
Yeah, they might be kept to their lowest score of the season, though, so that's a thing to take away for the Firebirds.
Absolutely. Heinrich.
But maybe I shouldn't expect too soon, though.
Well, 2:48 to go. They're not going to get another 8 goals.
No, you wouldn't think so.
Nurse.
Oh, well read by Demelza then.
Maybe they will if she keeps that up.
Yeah.
Scholes, Bomberto. And that's off the hands of Medhurst. No query from her about that. So good call from Louise McMeeking. Ah, dear. Great defence.
Yeah. Oh, that was very late.
It was. Medhurst. Oh, no. We'll wait a long time to see the Thunderbirds do that. And it's got a little bit stop-start at the end of the match. A bit scrappy. You can understand it. It's been played at fearsome pace and with enormous commitment. And a much closer match than we might have expected. Morgan, not quite.
Yeah. I suppose when you get to the end of the game and behind, you're trying to get quicker and pass the ball a lot faster and try and get those few extra goals.
Catch up. Medhurst looking for someone in the pocket. There was no one there. Like me looking for my wallet. (54-42). Thunderbirds scored the last 3. Racing towards 60. That's off the Firebirds, so that'll be T-Birds' possession. Nat Bomberto to Laura. What do you think of the switch between them, wing attack and centre?
Oh, actually, I'm actually liking it. I think they've done it very well. I haven't seen them play too much this way, and it's usually the other way around, but Laws has been working on a centre, I know, at Australian training and working really well at that, and I know Nat's having some time in the wing attack position, so it's nice to see them switch it up like that and be so effective in doing so.
Nat Bomberto had 9 penalties to half-time and only 3 since.
See, there you go. Very effective.
I don't know whether the players have adjusted to the umpires or vice versa, but what we've got is a much more even game penalties-wise. The Firebirds 7 more. Heinrich off to Medhurst. Last 20 seconds. Lucas to Nurse. Nurse to Dever. Dever over the top for Morgan. Just drop back into enough space there. She's got to be a couple of metres out from the baseline, hasn't she, to be able to fall back?
Certainly has.
There's full time, and that's a mighty effort from the Firebirds. They gave the Thunderbirds a mighty fright. 56-44. And a dozen is a very respectable margin. In fact, they've kept the Thunderbirds to their lowest total of the season. So a big tick in the defensive column for the Queensland Firebirds. And their fans here would have loved to win, but they're not disappointed in the effort shown. That was quite a match, Alison.
It certainly was, and I'm impressed with the Firebirds and the T-Birds for showing that strength and coming back after that. And, you know, it's not easy being down at half-time, and they certainly worked overtime in that second half.
Just 10 goals in the last quarter and 9 in the third for the Firebirds as they were outscored 15 and 16. Let's look at some full-time stats, Alison.
Well, look, the penalties are actually quite even, as we said, and certainly not even in the first half. But where are we looking? Basically, the defence of the Firebirds here, they've given a lot of penalties away, and I suppose it's something that a little bit of inexperience and something that they'll need to work at.
And Sam Dennis is down with Belinda Dever.
Hey, how you doing? Look good. Not the win tonight, but definitely a courageous effort. How did it feel out there?
Yeah, it felt good. We knew we could come out and we could compete with them. We knew they were going to be really fast and really strong, and they've been playing some great netball. So, look, we did some good things out there. Yeah, we were actually hoping to come away with the win tonight. So, a bit gutted we've lost, but there's still so many positives we can take from it, and we're building each game. So, yeah, we'll hold our heads high and look towards next week, definitely.
Great game.
Thank you.
Peter, well, what a hard stopper, but you came away with a win in the end. How did it feel?
I mean, it's always great to win in the National League. Every game's tough, as you know, and we knew it would be a danger match against the Firebirds, but obviously we just wanted to work our game, and I think in the end we did. It took us a little while to get going. I guess if anyone's seen our game, they know that if you play the float, then it's probably a good thing, so we're still working on that, and we'll get better.
Congratulations, Peter.
Thanks, mate.
Well, just a couple of final impressions from you, Alison. I think the Firebirds have got something to work with there.
They certainly have. They're showing a lot of confidence about them, and you know, look out next week because they've got a little fire in their belly and they're wanting to get out there and win every game, and that's pleasing to know.
And they're certainly responding to Vicky Wilson. So that's a good unit they've got here up in Brisbane, and I'm sure that there's plenty of more good matches to come from them. Remember, Saturday afternoons on ABC TV, we have the highlight show with coverage from all the matches in the round. Check your local guides for the telecast times in your area. Super Series Bowls is at 5 o'clock.